I sat where you're sitting now. When I'm often introduced, people say, "Oh, I have a dog named Max." They'll tell me they've named their rabbit, their pet turtle, or potbelly pig after me. And how I've achieved such transcendent multi-species fame remains a mystery. But that's my story, and I've decided to go with it. And if you're as lucky as I am, someone, somewhere, will name their schnauzer after you. Standing here now, I think thank you and congratulations are in order. The cost, the struggle and hardship, the tears and joy, it's been a long, hard road. Congratulations, parents, you did it. Now, this is the part where I'm supposed to tell you, the graduating class, to follow your dreams. But honestly, you've heard that speech before. The truth is you're graduating into an angry, unstable world. It's a mess out here. The climate is on fire, and AI is coming for you. My generation has spent an awful lot of time and energy screwing things up. I'd like to tell you the story has not been written yet. I hope not. But then, that's now up to you. When I stood where you're standing now, I could not have imagined that one day I'd return in this moment. This is my school. I am no more and no less a graduate of Connecticut College. What I've learned is that I can be a part of the difference I want to see in the world. Not because of what I've accomplished, but because of my willingness to connect, imbuing me with respect for the gifts and the contributions of others different from me. Graduating from college does not mark an end. This is your beginning. You're not standing here because you've accomplished any great feat, with few exceptions here. The truth is you spent the first 21 years of your life as a consumer, supported and curated by others. Today that comes to an end. Today is your commencement. Yours will be a shambolic journey, steeper and more twisted than mine, across less stable ground. You will have no clear path to follow. The changes you will face will test your resilience and your humanity, more so than any generation that has come before you. The surety you will carry with you will be your Connecticut College experience. You will stumble. You will get lost. You will not be heard. You will make mistakes. You will want to give up, and you'll want to blame them. Them. Your worst moments will be what shape you, not your best. Your steps will not be measured by what you achieve or how much money you make, but by how much you give to others and the strength of your connections. Your courage and your curiosity will determine your success, not your talents. Your happiness, it will be measured by your generosity of spirit. When I reached for my diploma, sitting where you are now, I had no idea what I had acquired. It would take me another 40 years for me to come to understand the magnitude of what I held in my hand and why it mattered. To all the parents who have made this moment possible, the professors gathered, the Board of Trustees, and the leadership of this extraordinary and privileged bastion of freedom, thank you. Thank you, President Chapdelaine, for standing up for us. Thank you for defending my education. I have no doubt I would not be the person I am today, but for the liberal arts education Connecticut College provided me. 200 years ago, an escaped slave, Frederick Douglass, he remarked, "No greater benefit can be bestowed upon a long-benighted people than to giving them, as we are here earnestly this day endeavoring to do, the means of an education." Education means emancipation. It means liberty, the uplifting by which men can only be made free. A cold December evening in 1981, a Conn College classmate, Daniel Hayes, rushed onto the lecture hall stage in Cummings Arts Center as the curtain was about to go up on a play I was directing. Distraught, he whispered in my ear that John Lennon had been murdered, gunned down. A man so monumental to my generation and those who have followed, he could only have been a Beatle. We killed him. Imagine. All You Need Is Love was broadcast to over 400 million people in 25 countries, the largest audience ever aggregated in human history. In the tumult of the violent, fractured chaos of the 1960s, we gathered around our television sets and radios and listened together, young and old, black, white, men, women, rich, poor, Catholic, Muslim, Jew, gay, straight, conservative, and liberal. Not because we didn't have our differences, but because for just 3 minutes, we had the opportunity to feel heard, connected. I am you, the Beatles sang. You are me. We are us. There was no them. There was no they. Just choices. Choices. Written by a man who could not read or write a note of music, thus telling us it was a song we too could write. Looking beyond what they could see, John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr created a better world. What they showed us is that ordinary people, you and me, can do extraordinary things. In the words of anthropologist Margaret Mead, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed individuals can change the world. In fact, it's the only thing that ever has. All You Need Is Love begins with the French national anthem, Marseille. You can hear Glenn Miller's swing jazz masterpiece In the Mood alongside Bach's Invention No. 8 in F major, Greensleeves. What the Beatles did was give back ourselves to ourselves. Different cultures, different eras, Europe's classical traditions, the American experience, immigrants, and slaves. In binding us together, they reinvented our story, connecting a new, younger generation determined to find a different path. Their songs mattered not because they were Beatles songs, but because they became our songs. John Denver, who wrote Take Me Home, Country Roads, said to me when I asked him how he knew he'd written a good song, he remarked, "When it becomes yours, in a short 3.5 minutes, the measure of a great artist." The Beatles challenged the prevailing mindset, reminds me of today, seeming only able to deliver intransigence, instability, and chaos, sexism, racism, and of course war, both at home and abroad. Mostly they gave us a reason to. They connected us by changing how we feel. A few years ago, I was standing in Abbey Road Studios with Ringo, waiting for Paul to show up, and he turned to me and said, "It's good to be a Beatle again." "But you are a Beatle," I said to him. "Not at home," he answered. "As I was leaving the house, my wife Barbara told me to empty the garbage." Richie, you can be a Beatle after you empty the garbage." I realized in that moment what being a Beatle meant. At home, alone, it was just Richie emptying the garbage. Connected with John, Paul, and George, connected to them, a Beatle. Now, Ringo never had the privileges you and I have been afforded. Neither did Stephen Judkins, a blind black boy from Saginaw, Michigan. Born in a racial tumult of the 1950s, what chance did he have to complete high school or go to college? He didn't. 100 million records sold, 25 Grammy Awards later, I guess you'd have to ask Stevie Wonder. Reginald Dwight, my friend Reggie, a pudgy, gay English boy with thick glasses. Who would have expected him to amount to anything? 300 million records sold. Multiple Grammy, Emmy, Tony, and Oscar awards. He wrote the best-selling song of all time. With a passion for Chopin and Bach, Elton John single-handedly returned the piano to the center of popular music after the emergence of the electric guitar. He's raised over $600 million to support HIV-related programs in 55 countries. Charting more than 115 pop hits, Carol Joan Klein, a Jewish girl from New York City, became the most successful female songwriter in history, when women were not considered relevant, let alone legitimate songwriters. And she did it, in spite of what men said she could or couldn't do. Who doesn't love a natural woman? Henry Dorchendorf, Jr., I first reached out to when I was a student right here at Connecticut College. I thought I needed his permission to use his songs in a play I was writing for a class assignment. Growing up an Air Force brat, he was forced to move from base to base, making it impossible to make friends. His grandmother gave him a guitar and hoped it might ease his loneliness. The poet laureate of Colorado, he wrote what is now both the West Virginia and Colorado state songs. Only the second artist to outsell the Beatles. By the mid-1970s, John Denver would rise to become the biggest selling artist in the world. The conversations we're having today regarding global warming and the environment reached the world and changed us because of how his songs made us feel. These kids succeeded because they had nothing to lose. They weren't burdened by the privileged expectations of their families and social milieu. If they failed in life, no one would have thought much of it, because none of them were ever expected to succeed. You are. You've been given every privilege, every advantage. This is your burden. The Bible says, "For whom much has been given, much is required." The songwriter and Fulbright scholar Chris Christopherson wrote, "Freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose." You've got everything to lose. You're going to have to fight for your freedom like no generation before you. The burden you carry and the threats you face will make your journey the most challenging and consequential in human history. So how did these young artists do it? They reinvented themselves, becoming part of something more than what they had been given. Courage fueled their success, irrespective of their talent. Instead of blaming the world for their station in life, they changed it. And we didn't care if they were black, gay, a man, or a woman. We didn't care if they came from another country. We cared about them because of how they made us feel. All of you in the LGBT community, if you want to celebrate and feel the power and magic of your you-ness, crank up Elton John's "The Bitch Is Back." Listening to that song, who doesn't want to be gay? That's connection, and it's timeless. Our music, our art, can penetrate our differences when no other human experience can. That's why it matters. It's not just entertainment. Elton John said to me when we were recording a song called "The Bridge," that for him, being an artist was the greatest privilege Because as he said, you get to come and risk it all or die trying. Few of us ever get to experience what it is to be that alive. The world doesn't care about you in spite of what you think of you deserve. We care about the guy who went to the 2-year trade school down the road and learned how to maintain and repair the landing gear on our airplanes. Your college degree does not give you standing in the world. It gives you choices and the opportunity to have standing. But you must stand up. Your Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter skills won't land the plane. Texting is not talking. Twitter is not a conversation. And TikTok will not make you smarter. AI, it's a digital machine. Sorry, Dan. And you're an analog creature. Rather than connecting you and me, it connects you to a machine. It will tell you how to feel, hence what to think, ergo, how to act. AI is engineered to take you out of life, replacing your process with theirs, making you, ultimately, redundant. How can you know what matters if you haven't engaged, been a part of the process? Artificial intelligence. As spectacular a tool as it might yet prove to be, you need to know we have invented a drug 100,000 times more lethal than fentanyl, and we're already addicted to it. Your degree is not about the stuff you learned. It's about the knowledge you've gained, born from your process. AI can only give you an outcome, and it doesn't need you. Remember, information is not knowledge. Acquiring information is not thinking. Good answers require good questions, and your answers require you to think. That's what Connecticut College demanded of you. That's what AI will erase. Today, we largely live, breathe, and define our happiness, right and wrong, and truth according to the curated digital dictates of the internet and social media that my generation created. We spend our time on the internet looking for validation, thinking it's connection. Social media is engineered to redirect your focus, artificially inflate your value, and tell you what you should think and want. It's hard to connect when you don't know who you're connecting to. Everyone is not anyone. The dictionary defines liberal, had to put this in here, as willing to respect or accept the behavior or opinions different from one's own, open to new ideas. The word traces back to the Latin word liber, meaning free. As we stand here now, the very idea of liberal arts is under direct assault. Your education. 50 years ago, a woman with no college degree stood where I am standing now to receive the Connecticut College Medal. A woman who at your age was denied the right to vote because she was a woman. It was her journey, and those of so many great women, that gave rise to Connecticut College. Undeterred, she fought back and would go on to become the president of the League of Women Voters. In these times, her oft-repeated question to me haunts me. So what are you going to do about it? She'd say when I was confronted by a difficult challenge. In my small way, I hope my words today honor her, her commitment to Connecticut College, and my education. Percy Maxim Lee was my grandmother. We glibly talk about leadership as if we expect someone else to solve our problems. There is no someone else. It's just you and me. So I ask you, as I look at what you face, what is happening to our country, what are you going to do about it? Inspired by my connection I made while a student at Connecticut College, I again reached out to John Denver. I wanted to produce a project to bring global awareness to the extinction crisis we face. Together, we created the Wildlife Concert. John had written a song that the record company did not want included, They wanted hits, more Take Me Home Country Roads. John and I insisted the song we recorded be included. Introducing it, he said this: "The Zen Buddhists say as air is to the bird, as water is to the fish, so is resentment and regret to humankind." On the one hand, there was much resentment, fear, and anger at the idea our lives have to change because the way we live is not sustainable. But how much would there be to regret if we continue down the path we're on, however much easier we think it is? After the broadcast, a reporter challenged him, suggesting that, the world's problems are so big, what difference can one person make? It's easy. Follow your heart. Do what you can do, that you were moved to do, but do something. Instead of tossing your cup on the ground, if each of us picked up one piece of garbage that was not ours, there quickly would be no more garbage. It's easy, he said. The Beatles told us that 60 years ago. The only difference between then and now is that we've run out of time. If you need guidance, if you want to know what's going on, pay attention to our artists. They've long since told you our story. That's the power of art, is that it connects us blindly. No machine can provide meaning or tell your story. You have a voice. You now have an education. Use it. You do what you can do, what your heart and spirit compel you to do. I'll do what I can do. And if we come together, there isn't a problem we can't solve. After all, we created them. You matter, perhaps more than any generation that has come before you. The challenges you face, the most perilous. Your choices will determine America's future, humanity's future. It's in your hands now. What I know is that without the person seated next to you, take a look at them. You and I aren't going to make it. It's that simple. I can't change what you do or think, but I can change how you feel. As a writer and artist, that's what I can do. It may not seem like much, but I can't make a strong enough argument to change the way you think. That's why art matters. What makes it so very powerful. Science can't provide meaning, only evidence. We can't think our way to a changed world until and unless we change our feelings. It is your heart that will empower you to find your place in the world, connect you, tell you who you are. Everything else is just stuff. As Maya Angelou said, people will forget what you say. They will forget what you do, but they will never forget how you made them feel. You see, we aren't running from the danger before us so much as retreating from vulnerability. Even in the presence of people and places of trust, the idea of being fully seen without armor feels so foreign today. So we choose the predictability of oppression over the uncertainty of what freedom might require. Hours before he was murdered, John Lennon finished recording a song for his son. He sang, "Take my hand. Life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans." Paul told us, the movement you need is on your shoulders. George offered us hope. Here comes the sun. But perhaps Ringo said it best. We all live in a yellow submarine. In the end, together, their final words and their final song, the love you take is equal to the love you make. You have the power to change the world, and you're standing in it. Do it. Take action. Make your voice heard. If you don't stand up for our world now, if you won't stand up for our home here on Spaceship Earth, there will be nothing to stand up for tomorrow. I can't save the world, But together, we can. Together, we can make a world of difference. The song that John Denver and I had to fight so hard to get heard against the corporate machinations eventually reached over 1 billion people. My hope today is that it might too ignite something in your heart. It is a song whose journey for me began here at Connecticut College. Remember, when it is darkest is when the stars shine brightest. I have faith in you. It is your light and vision that will lead us out of this darkness. There is no one else. And if you let me, I will join you.